Hey everybody, welcome back to the Court of Random Opinion. My name is Lauren Neidigh. Tonight we have a special feature for you. Bruce is going to eat trail mix for us as an ASMR type deal. Yeah, it's going to be good. So
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh,
hang on, let
whoops,
me.
sorry guys.
If there's enough super chats, I will. I'll eat some trail mix.
I don't. Okay, well we'll talk about that later. I gotta do something about this hair, dude. Okay, so we're here with our friend Tiff, who
Yeah.
has been with us before, to go over the Owens bankruptcy documents. I don't understand shit about finances, so I was kind of like, you know what, help, uh, immediately help,
We need
because
help. We need
yeah,
big help.
so I was looking at it and I saw the 2.3 million figure, and I was like, does this mean debt? I asked the stupidest questions ever. I was in your DMs like, does this mean debt? Does
I was
this
like,
dollar
yes,
sign? Does this
yes,
mean
it does.
money? Like, what?
It doesn't seem like a real number, right? Like it doesn't seem real
Well,
when you
how
We
do you
have
see it.
get
numbers.
2.3
We have
million in debt?
questions.
That's
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
god.
it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's gonna take more than one video to go over it for sure.
Yeah, no, we'll probably do this for an hour and a half tonight. Snitzel Ninja's gonna be coming in with us a little bit late, but this is definitely gonna be more than one part, so we're not gonna get through everything today. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up. Hang on. Oh, the trail mix is there. I see. This is a sponsored video by Bruce's Trail Mix. Alright.
So hungry.
I mean, you can eat your trail mix, dude. I'm not freaking
No.
out at you. Like, okay, so
We have
they,
important work to do, ladies and gentlemen. We're dedicated.
good lord.
Financial
All right.
analysis.
So the victims of Laura Owens' website redacted this. I was like, I have to wait till tomorrow because I'm not going to redact that. That is too much stuff. Last time, Bruce and I went over a document with the proposed or possible victims. Laura Owens reported me for cyberbullying, and it got removed. So I had to wait until somebody else did the work for me here. So hang on, let me.
That was the witness list for the criminal case? Is that what that
Yeah,
was?
like the potential witness list. And she reported that for cyberbullying. So yeah, here we
I
go.
mean, yeah, this
Successful that time, yeah.
these videos are not intended to be like sent to her. Like she can watch them if she chooses, but that
She
means
chooses.
it's
She's
voluntary.
not the audience.
If she watches it, it's with consent. That's not bullying. Bullying is like if we sent her an email, if we showed up and picketed her doorstep. So it's not bullying, okay?
Like call the FBI.
Um,
Okay. So this was
no.
like the figure in the beginning where I saw the 2.3 million figure. What does all this stuff mean here, Tiff?
Okay, so let's back up a second.
Yeah.
To start. So what they filed for was Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and so there are three common forms of bankruptcy: Chapter 7, Chapter 11, and Chapter 13. Chapter 11 is about businesses, and we're not even going to talk about it because it doesn't matter. Chapter 7 basically is very similar to Chapter 13, other than, and I know that Google will tell you differently, but I'm just telling you from my opinion, right? From a layperson's opinion, even like they're very similar in that you can keep your primary residence, most likely, as long as you actually have some debt on it that you are paying on, and in both circumstances. And the difference between 7 and 13 is that 13, you make payments back to the bankruptcy court, and then they pay all your creditors as much as they can, right? So it's like a payment. It's almost like a debt consolidation, but the government manages it, right?
Okay.
So, and I didn't explain that well, but that's
No, I mean that kind of because I know what the debt consolidation is. So
yeah.
shockingly,
So it's very
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, and it's court ordered, so it's a little more regulated, right? And there's more rules, of course, because this is 77 pages out of one form, and 91% of it is just nonsense that we don't even care about, right? It's just crazy. So, but we've got some good information in the other 9%, right? That we've been waiting for a while, because I'm not gonna dance. Cat Lady Ballerina wanted me to dance a victory dance, but I can't because I
why?
can't walk. I can't walk, so I can't dance.
You don't have
But
to walk to dance. You can dance in your seat, bro.
I can dance. I was right. I said it would happen over a year ago. I knew we were heading here, because you just can't maintain with that level of borrowing, right? And that's what they were doing for years and years. It's just borrow more, borrow more, borrow more.
How do
Eventually,
you do
people
that?
stop lending you money.
Yeah, no. How do you get that far into it before they stop saying like, yes, you can have more money? Like, how does that work?
So it's crazy because like credit scoring, basically it rewards you for having more open accounts, especially if you manage them properly. I mean, it doesn't like it when a lot of your stuff's maxed out, right? But
Sure.
if you've got a good amount of accounts that have decent balances, that you're paying on, your credit score will reward you for that. And some things that you slack off on with your credit takes a little bit longer for your score to keep going down, right? You can bounce back. You've seen your score, I'm sure. If you want, it can go up and down and up and down,
I
right?
try not to look, but yeah,
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
So I mean, it's almost like the more you borrow, the more they'll give you, right? Like when we paid off our house, our
Oh.
credit score dropped 50 points immediately. And our house was
Mhm.
paid off. It was insane. Like with all my knowledge, I knew it would happen, but I didn't know it'd be 50 points,
Yeah, it's a lot.
right? So that's how it can happen. And especially when you've got a bunch of enabling going on in your circle. And I think that's a lot of it too, because
Yeah.
at some point the money did stop coming in, the approvals, I should say, and we needed to add some people into our mortgages in
Is that
order
how
to be approved.
Sarah and Christian happened?
Now,
Yeah.
Tiff, what are the categories of borrowing they're doing? Because I think I know about like home equity lines of credit, and it seems like there's credit cards in this mix. Is there anything else?
Yeah, so like basically any kind of bill you have can be included in a bankruptcy and can be considered as part of your debt, right? So that includes your light bill, your
Mhm.
phone bill, your horse stable bill, your horse
Okay, so
insurance.
regular
Single bill?
utilities,
Yep.
bills you haven't paid. It could
Yeah.
be single time, like if you get your roof replaced, that's a one-time deal, but it's still a bill. Okay,
Yeah.
or your electricity. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and yeah, it could be a repair you did on your house, right? That you didn't completely pay off, somebody you hired to do something that you didn't pay in full, for a service or whatever. So services, anything that you spend out money for is considered a
Okay.
debt until it's paid.
And I don't know if we'll see
So
it today or in a future episode, but there's some interesting things around storage that I think we need to look at very closely.
bingo. Yes, I agree that I
Storage.
definitely want to look at those.
Where's that coming
So
from?
the
You don't know?
storage.
Never mind.
Oh,
Yeah.
what?
Okay.
That's why we want to look at it. We want to think about it.
What kind of storage? Right. So I'm my brain works a funny way, guys, and I'm sorry. So we're looking at this list of this is what we have in assets and this is what we have in debt, right? And it's very simple. It's all lumped in so that we can see our totals. My brain freezes on the property being quoted as $750,000 because I get that there are 4 people on title and only 2 people are filing this bankruptcy, but that does not mean that the other 2 people have an equal ownership interest. They
Okay.
simply got on title so they could sign for the mortgage, right? They had to be co-borrowers, so they were added to title. That's it. They don't actually have any skin in the game as far as that house goes, other than putting their names on it.
Right.
So that bugs
Okay.
me. I'm just going to mention it so I can scratch
But
that itch and get
how
rid of it.
how would they have do you mean that 750 number would be different, or how
Yeah,
would
it should
that
be. It
be?
should say 1.5. It should say 1.5. It should say whatever they're saying the full value of the house is. That's what that number should be.
You don't think
They might have
750K is the full value of the house?
Is it
no.
1.5?
It's yeah.
Yeah.
It's close to 1.5, 1.6, somewhere around there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You
So
think they're doing this because they're saying this is our share of it?
yeah.
Okay.
There's we're gonna see a lot of mistakes, but that one is bugging me, so that's why I pointed it out.
Now,
But you'll see.
what did they buy the property for? Do you know that?
I do know that they bought it for 950,000, and that was in July of 21.
Okay.
And
And
then they started taking out mortgages immediately.
and you think the value's gone up since then?
Yeah, just because that's kind of how it's worked in the real estate market. They bought it in 21 and the real estate market really kind of opened up right in that post. We were still in the pandemic, but we were coming out of it and people
Yeah.
were able to go wherever they want. So people were buying and there were a lot of things that were allowing people to buy.
Hmm.
So we saw prices rise pretty rapidly. Um,
That was a few
and
years
yeah,
ago, though. They couldn't have come down a little bit.
yeah, I do think they did come down a little bit. So like
Mm.
there's almost 1.8 million in loans on this house and it's not worth 1.8, right? So it's lost a little bit of value.
Fair, fair.
So
So
I
no
just don't.
matter what we're talking about in terms, because the value, we would need to get appraisals and all that jazz.
Yeah.
And even if you go get 3 appraisals, you get 3 different numbers. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean it's a little more regulated depending on the type of appraisal you get. You know, so the more stringent the appraisal licensing is, the better
Okay.
appraisal you'll get because
Okay.
it's really about plugging numbers into a computer system and letting it tell you what, you know.
Very good.
So yeah, I think they might be pretty right on with 1.5. I think it's probably a little more, but not much.
Okay.
Not much. I think there's a possible reason they're doing this, and I don't think it matters, but it's funny that they think it does.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So we've got our assets here. We've got 750,000 in real estate, and we've got $11,300 in the bank, which is shocking to me
Yeah.
because of
What?
some numbers we're gonna talk about, right?
Yeah, that's not very
It,
much.
no, it's just not, sadly. Um, so then we move on to what they're stating is their debt, right? So in a bankruptcy, it's really important to list secured debt and unsecured debt separately. So you got to think of like a mortgage versus a credit card bill.
Okay.
A mortgage is secured; it's secured by your house. Credit card bill is not secured unless you have like the kind you put in $100 and that's all it has on it, right? But
Mhm.
in general, a credit card bill is not a secured debt; it's unsecured. And in a bankruptcy situation, unsecured debt is like the bottom priority. They just don't get a lot of attention in even a chapter 13, as we will see here. So the
Oh.
priority is the secured debt because it has value to it, right? If, for example, this house was worth $2 million and there was 1.8 million in mortgages on the property, the bankruptcy trustee would say, let's sell it and pay these people back, pay these mortgages back. So
Hmm.
the that's why you see it separated here. So that the
Okay.
trustee knows what has assets that they can cure with it and what doesn't.
So they are not listing any unsecured debt?
Yeah, again, we're going to see a lot of mistakes here.
That seems a
Because
And
little
this is
odd.
one of
wouldn't
them.
credit cards, utility bills, these moving expenses, all that type of thing be, or storage maybe,
Right.
be
Yeah,
unsecured?
yeah, that's all unsecured debt. And that's what our $511,327.21. That's what that is. It's basically it's summarizing it from a different schedule because it's so huge
Oh,
that it puts it into one number. Yeah.
oh, I
So
see. So they do have the unsecured debt accounted for. It's in line 3B and it's
yeah.
not 3A. Okay, because they're using part 2 instead of part 1. Oh, I see, because this is priority unsecured claims. Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Yeah. Priority unsecured claims would be like if you had child support or there's certain types of debt that has a priority over others.
Okay,
Child
very good.
support,
Thank
IRS
you.
taxes, stuff like that would be
I see.
priority. So it's not secured, but it's like the next level down. And we don't see any of that here. So I didn't bring it up. I should have though.
Very good.
So we're looking at $511,000 and
Okay.
then some in credit card and miscellaneous debt.
That's a
They have a
very
lot of
large
credit
amount.
cards. There's a
It's
lot
a
of bank
huge
accounts on there.
What,
it's a huge amount.
Hmm.
like, what is going on here? Are they just Are they buying like, designer shoes and handbags, or like what's going on? I mean, or is that all detailed
designer
later from
voyeurs?
this Schedule EF? Is that?
Yo,
Or we just
The-
don't know.
Yeah, it's not. It we'll see. There's not a lot of explanation to it as far as what it is and what it was used for,
Mhm.
which you don't see. It's not like that's not abnormal. So it's fine that they don't categorize it a certain way. I would have maybe done some things differently, but my brain works a different way.
Yeah.
And I mean, well, I don't know that
I
they got
mean, it's a lot of Domino's pizza. I'll say that.
every day, every day.
and yeah, I'm trying to stop myself from saying certain things because there's more. But
Well, that's what we're here for.
yeah, I mean, it's like they don't have a car. I don't think that's a shocker to anybody. It's been talked about, right? There's no car. There's no asset
I
of a
just
car
figured they
reported
ride their
there.
horses everywhere, so that's
And so that's surprising to
We have
me.
7 or 8 of them.
I mean, I would imagine, like, I'm assuming Phoenix is not like a walking community, right? Like it's or Scottsdale,
Oh.
wherever. It's not like easy to get around, I'm assuming. So that's a lot of transportation expenses.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, not
Well, she gets
$511,000 for
free
it.
Uber, doesn't she, for life or whatever? 'Cause of this-
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know,
if they have
maybe.
free Ubers, maybe. You can get a lot of stuff delivered these days. You don't.
That's true.
Do you
Yeah,
need to leave the
and I
house? I
mean,
don't know.
maybe they have some, like, if Ron has appointments or whatever, they have, maybe their services, like senior centers and stuff, a lot of times run vans and stuff for free. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
see
true.
them doing that, but it's
Mhm.
there. I'm so sorry, guys, because I cannot pay attention to chat and focus at the same time, and I usually
You're
try
good,
to
don't worry about it.
acknowledge some things, but I can't right now.
Okay.
If there's a big question, I'll watch for it, so you can
Hey.
just focus on the document.
Right. So yeah, so we get to $2.3 million in debt.
Thanks.
And this is astonishing to me, but because of things I've discussed in other streams where, they moved to Scottsdale and they bought this house for a decent price. Like they didn't have a lot of money from the last sale in San Francisco, and they actually like it was a good choice to buy a cheaper house, and immediately they undid it with mortgages. It's a
Mm-hmm. And you've seen the amounts they sold the San Francisco house for and what they bought this house for. What's the difference between those two? Like, what would you end up in the bank after closing?
Well, the problem is there were so many mortgages on that San Francisco house, right? Despite the fact that they owned it for like 20 plus years. So they in my estimation, they walked away with maybe $300,000, maybe.
Oh, is
That's
that
a very
all?
generous, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And we're talking about a big difference in sale price here, $2.5 million difference in sales price. So, I mean, again, this was a smart buy. It was a really smart buy. And it could have been with a $20,000 income a month, they could have been set for life.
Right. Yeah. If they had paid off most of that
with that much credit card debt.
they could have had $1 million or $2 million in the bank after selling the San Francisco house if they'd paid it down originally.
Yeah, no, they just kept borrowing like they're doing on here, and then like I said, even if that 500,000 in debt was still an issue for them back then, which I think this is more new debt, you could still manage. I don't know, it's bonkers to me.
Crazy. Somebody says they should do a GoFundMe. Shut up, Jay.
Well, Jay, I think they might have one that you can donate to. I mean, if you got some extra cash rolling around, I think.
Yeah, not getting my money.
That'd be something for Jay to do tonight. I don't know.
Well, I saw an article today about the Owens family and their debt and the GoFundMe, and it said something about how Ron issued a thank you note to everyone who donated. And I was sitting there thinking, like, I didn't get a thank you note, and I donated as Chase J. Jones. So I think that's probably a lie too. But okay.
Oh, you didn't get a thank you note email?
No, Ron didn't send me a thank you note.
You didn't get a best wishes e-card?
No, I didn't.
Since you're Chase J. Jones,
best.
Lauren, here's what happened. You're Chase J. Jones, so it went to that P.O. box in Seattle. That's what happened to it.
That's probably what happened.
It's probably up there right now.
Never mind the fact that I use my own email address, but whatever.
Whoops. It's fine.
I didn't give a shit. It's like, I'm not
Yeah.
hiding it.
Right.
Let me see if I can move down here a little bit. Wait.
Yeah,
so
we'll see a lot of zeros. A lot of things don't apply in these documents. That's why I said like 90% of it is blah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. What should we go down to, you think?
So that was just like a list of so with bankruptcy, you get like these exceptions for, they're not going to steal your clothes off your back when you file bankruptcy, right? They're going to let you keep your clothing, your wedding rings, your refrigerator, crap like that. So that was just like a list of the things that they're saying that they have. And then we get to what they have in their bank accounts. These are also maddening to me because I highly doubt every single balance is exactly $100, but okay. I feel like you should be accurate when you're filling out paperwork, but that's just because I think that's because of my job, but whatever.
Well, just for anyone who's like super new here, could you tell them about what you do?
Oh yeah, so I work in the title industry, so I do property title research and real estate closings, and I've been doing that ever since I graduated high school, so a very long time. And so I've seen a lot of financial stuff over my time, and I also right now our focus where I'm at is foreclosure work. So, and I'm very familiar with foreclosure work. I've been since 2006 when we had that big burst. I've worked in foreclosure stuff, so I see a lot of stuff that maybe you wouldn't even see on a normal real estate transaction. I see.
While we're on the subject of you, Hope Johnson gave a $10 super chat. Thank you, Hope. I think it's so weird that Tiff has the same facial expressions I do, just like looking in the mirror. Tiff, you're beautiful. I guess you have an admirer here. Yeah.
Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah.
We found more twins than Laura ever did.
Right.
Oh my.
I think we could be sisters.
Now,
wasn't around.
Tiff, there's a question in chat. So this, like you're saying, like a checking account, savings account, these often have like these minuscule, dividend or interest rewards or whatever. So they're like, even if you put $100 in it, you usually go like 130 cents or $102. They're never, like you're saying, they're not usually these perfectly round numbers, right?
Yeah. It's
So
just
yeah. So who verifies that the things they've put in here is correct? Is it this trustee person, or who does that?
yeah. So I'm being critical because again, I think it should be filled out properly. But the bottom line is this is kind of just like a snapshot in time of what's going on in our lives and why we want to enter this plan. Because this is a request to enter a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, right? This is basically an application. And so this is saying here's why we should be allowed to do that. And there will be a point where the trustee has been provided copies of bank statements and income schedules and stuff like that that are more specific and detailed. And some of it we'll see published in the court record, some of it we won't, but it'll be there for the trustee to compare and contrast against what was provided to them. And I say I'm saying him when I do reference a trustee, but I do believe it is a guy. I think we saw it somewhere in the paperwork. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Hi, Schnitzel Ninja.
Oh, hello.
I think she's on mute, so I don't know if she left her desk or what. But anyways, we did say hi to her in case anyone if she gets mad about that later. Anyways,
so to that point, we did. To that point about verifying the information, Bruce, going back real quick to the house, they will do, if they don't do a full appraisal, the trustee, they'll do a very good valuation. On this size of a bankruptcy case, they'll definitely be looking at what the assets total up to.
And when you say valuation, is that like what a real estate agent would do, or is that something else?
They have appraisers that have specialties that will do this kind of, they call it a BPO or broker price opinion. It's all boring title stuff, but it'll be a specialist that will handle it. Realtors aren't the greatest specialists at this stuff, but they sell. That's fine.
I mean, realtors can do a sort of market evaluation, look at
Yes.
comparable properties, and that,
Yeah.
put that together,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And so the trustee will definitely, like I said, on this size of a case, will definitely do, in my opinion, an actual valuation, if not a full appraisal.
Perfect.
I mean, appraisal's not that much money to do, so.
We got Belly May says $500 wedding ring. Okay, Jan. I'm going to agree with the sentiment of this comment. I don't think that Jan accepted a $500 ring.
So that's the other thing about bankruptcy paperwork. In there are like this list of, okay, you can have appliances, but they can only be $2,500 worth of appliances or whatever it is. Like we're working on better explanation of all this, but that's basically it. Same thing. Your wedding ring is only allowed to be valued at $500, or you're technically supposed to sell it.
I would not have done that. I had no idea.
People will say, yeah, it's worth $500.
Does anybody ever really look into that? Like,
no. You're not. I mean, it depends. I mean, there are trustees that have been known to really flip the table over, right, and go after some things, but it's not likely that they're going to dig that deep. There are some things on here I think they will absolutely look at, but I don't think the wedding ring is it.
I mean, I think about taking somebody's wedding ring. That's so fucking cold. Like,
yeah, I mean, mine is my grandma's. I'd be devastated. Is it worth more than $500?
No.
Sure.
I would hide that shit in my shorts if I had to.
Right, I lost it. I don't know what to tell you.
Somebody stole it.
Don't have it no more. So yeah, that's most likely why they're listing those things as those lower values, because that's all they're allowed to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying this form has instructions that will say things like, "This is the max value you can put in this row," and they're just doing that.
Or their attorney probably has an explanation sheet for them as they're filling it out. Because what'll happen is they'll fill this out probably by hand, or even maybe by computer, but by answering a bunch of questions. But then the attorney plugs it all in onto these forms. So
it's like TurboTax.
Yeah, it wasn't an answer to the question you asked, but yeah, there are instructions that go along with the form, kind of like when you file your taxes, right? It tells you what to do. You might not see it on the final form that you file, but there's an instruction packet. Same thing.
Because like in TurboTax, you can put very detailed things, and then if there's a rule, it'll lop it off or simplify it, right?
Yeah.
Somebody says,
and it'll reference the schedules.
I would wear it as a Prince Albert. Come and get that ring. You win. You can keep it.
That's a good comment right there. That's a good one.
Wow.
I would not touch that ring. Wouldn't touch it.
Where's your sense of adventure, Lauren?
I don't have an Albert to Prince. Okay, I don't know what you want me to do with that.
You don't have to have one.
Okay. Anyways, what is this non-publicly traded stock and interest in incorporated and unincorporated business? The Quartet Farms is like, what is that, like their horse farm thing? And then the podcast, obviously, nobody told me. What is the Quartet Farms?
What is what?
That's their when they buy a horse and train it and resell it or whatever. Okay. That's the Quartet Farms, right? Okay.
That's in California, I believe. Well, the entity is in California. I don't know if there's an actual. Is there? I think they just like rent stables. I don't think they actually have a farm property. Yeah, I think they just rent stables. So, but it's a business. It's a business that they use to sell and whatever.
Now, why are these things listed as $0?
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Remember when I said there are some things they're going to look at real hard? That's one of the things they're going to look at real hard. You can't do this. You've got to fill it out. You've got to say how much ownership you do have in it. Number one, and number two, you definitely have to give it a value. So
Liz Max Investments down here too. Also, 100% ownership, $0. So Liz Max, was that something to do with the Airbnb?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's a huge thing because that was Clayton and Laura and the whole Airbnb ordeal, right?
Yep. That's where it all started, right? Really, if you think about it.
Yeah.
So and Liz Jan is the only whatever you want to call it member right
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
she did at least 100% is filled out there, but
Yeah.
it
We're
still
missing the
doesn't have a value.
percentages. Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
do you think they're putting 0 here because they're like assuming like they're losing money or something? Like if I spend a bunch of money for my LLC, but I don't make very much money, does that mean I would put a 0 here instead of a negative number? Or like, is that what they're doing?
Maybe that's how it's done because there are a lot of things like the rule says do A, but the entire industry doesn't do it that way. They do it by putting 0 there instead of a negative number, right? So it's
Sure.
possible that that's what it is done in practice. I can find out an answer to that one.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case, but um,
Hmm.
I, I don't know. I mean, there's money there that they're gonna. This is the
So
problem.
either these LLCs are worth something and they haven't reported it properly, or these LLCs have all failed and they haven't made any money and they're in the red on all of them, which just means they're terrible business people. It's one or the other, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. So
I
either
think
way it's not good news.
true story. Right. It just is it criminally not good news or is it just not good news?
Hmm.
You know, um, because you definitely have to be honest on your bankruptcy filing paperwork, and I'm not talking about the difference of putting $100 versus $101 in your
Right.
checking account listing. I'm talking about stuff like this, actual assets that have value to them. You've got to dispose them.
Yeah. Oh man. Snitzel Ninja's back with us. She's got a new avatar, I see.
Hey, how's it
Hi.
So,
going?
so I was at my physical therapy and I got a notification on my watch, and whoever has that as their, I don't know who it is, whoever has it as on Discord as their profile pic. I looked at my watch and the notification, there's a big freaking picture of that on my watch. Like, oh,
Smiley
somebody in
terrifying.
Discord. I don't
It's a,
know who it was because I
it's a
just
big
missed it
jump
real quick.
scare
Hilarious.
for sure. Oh
I gotta say,
boy.
probably like at least 2 or 3 people probably have that picture.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I don't know who it was, but it was weird because like I don't even always get notifications on my watch, but I'm like, ew, dismiss.
I'm on my phone and I was lazy. I'd have to like re-download my picture and I was like, ah, I'm just gonna use this one.
That worked. All right. We'll scroll down a little bit here into the next
Oh,
part. Unless there's anything significant here, we can keep going. Tiff.
sorry, I got distracted by chat again real quick. Yeah, this is just kind of continuing the information of the assets. So that first number we saw on the first page we looked at, that was
Mhm.
the total of all of it together.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So this here. So what is this?
So if we go back up,
Back up
this
to.
is it just the beginning. So sorry, this page right here. Stop there. This is all property that you're claiming that you have, but it's exempt from anybody coming to take it from your bankruptcy, right?
Yeah.
So this would be things, like I said, those minimums. You're allowed to have household goods and furnishings, a total of $1,500 worth. That's how much you're claiming you have. That's how much you're basically claiming 100% of that, right? You're allowed 1,500. You're claiming 1,500 of it as an exception. So let's say the bankruptcy guy comes in and he says, okay, you've actually got some artwork here that we can sell. And you can say, okay, and they'll analyze everything. And you can say, okay, but I get to keep my exception amount still, right? It's like, it's crazy to me though. These numbers are so outdated because $700 for appliances, really? Like,
Well, why is
my
the
pop.
house we saw this value 750K before, but
Mhm.
then in the exception you claim is
Yeah.
only 425. Why is that different?
Okay, that's different because in this bankruptcy court, because there's like several different bankruptcy courts throughout the U.S. and they all have different, somewhat different rules for exceptions. In this one, the homestead, your primary residence, you are allowed to claim up to $425,000 of equity in it. They don't have any equity, but if they did, they would be allowed to keep the house without selling it off as long as it didn't go over 425,000, the equity amount. So let's say
Right.
right now they have 1.8 million in mortgages. Let's say it was just 1 million. They would be allowed to keep up to 425,000 of that as an exception. This is why I think they're playing a game with that 750,000 number. But anyway.
Well, okay, so you said the 425 is the equity, but they don't have any equity. So why is it 425 here instead of 0?
I think it's 425 here because that's the amount that they're claiming. So let's say the trustee comes in and decides their house is worth 2.4, right? They're going to say, no, wait, we get to have that extra because we are legally allowed to have up to 425,000 in equity.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
So they're sort of saying like, we don't really know the appraised value, therefore we
But
can't
just in case,
we
we're
can't put a
keeping
perfect
every
number in
cent we
here.
can.
But
Yeah.
we'll take what we can get. Okay, I
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah. So, and that's a smart thing to do. You want to claim every exemption you can, right? I don't think it's going to come back as that much, but they'd be silly not to claim as much as possible. Because there are some things included in that value in that house value that are attached to the property, right? So there's yeah. I'm not going to go off track. I'm going to keep myself on track here.
We don't do that around here.
No, there's some, you mentioned like appliances being $700. That's like,
yeah.
Like, even if you have used appliances, if you sold all of them, you'd probably get more than $700. But like, is there a strategy to having a low value there, or?
No, I think it's just that's what's allowed, right? That's what they say your appliances should. That's what the guidelines say your appliances should be worth, because they're so outdated, right? It's silliness. Like, there's a lot of stuff in bankruptcy paperwork that's just literally just checking boxes.
So some of those again could be just they're hitting limits or they're capped by the form.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why. That's exactly the better way to say it. They're hitting caps. That's all they're doing is just caps. Doesn't mean that they only have $700 of appliances.
Fair.
It's the same like with the animals, right? Isn't there some like maximum amount you can claim with the animals?
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing. That is something though that I do think will be looked at too. Because unfortunately, like, the world looks at animals as property. So they're assets. And they are assets. Those horses are assets. So those are going to be looked at. You can say it's only worth what, $1,100, but you got to be able to prove that, because they will sell your horses. They just will.
Right.
Especially to get this much money back. It's quite a deficit. So yeah, you can try. I think, and that's kind of how this paperwork is approached by most bankruptcy attorneys, is like, well, we'll try, right? It's like, we'll try to get a plea deal, we'll try, but we're going to start with a baseline and let them challenge it, right? But some of it's really bad, flat out dishonesty.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's to be expected a little bit here. I feel like
we're not shocked by it.
No, I feel like we've seen a little bit of that before, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got list all secured claims here. Senlar, is it Senlar? Is that how you say it?
Yep, Senlar.
That is
it's
the
weird.
What, HELOC loan?
Yeah, that's a HELOC loan. It's weird to me that it's listed first on this list. I don't know, maybe there's a reason, but
I
it's not in it's not in first position on the, you know, property. It's not the first mortgage, it's the second. But yeah, this is the HELOC. And so what they're saying here is that the HELOC has made no change in amount of balance since the day they took it out 14 months ago,
Okay.
which is odd.
I don't know enough about this stuff to understand, like,
Yeah,
why
this
that.
is where we get, and so what we'll do here, just because it would be a very long night if we didn't, we will just kind of go over, we'll skim over some of it, and then we'll circle back to it,
Sure.
because there will be questions that come up.
So the original value of the HELOC for 2.1 here, you're saying that's column A? That's the 199.8?
Yeah, 199.8. Yep, that's the
And
HELOC.
if they had paid some of it back, that lower value remainder would be in column C. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And you're saying because column A equals column C, they haven't paid anything back?
Well, no, actually, it would be in column A. So column A, the way this part of the form works is,
Yeah.
so, and this is again, this goes back to secured and unsecured, and we will cover that and the way that this matters in a totally different, maybe its own video because it's a lot. But this is saying that the house is worth 1.5. I have a HELOC on it for 199.8, but I have other mortgages that have priority over it. So I actually have negative, well, and the same 199.8. I don't have any equity to cover this loan in this house. So when it says unsecured portion, it's basically saying, okay, this is to us. This is no longer a secured debt because our equity is gone. It is now unsecured for $199,000.
Okay, because the 1.5 mils underwater.
Yes.
Okay.
So our first mortgage was originally 1.6 million, and we've paid about 9,000, a little less than 10,000 of it off, right? But because our house we're saying is still only worth 1.5, we have now 90,000 of that is unsecured. Doesn't quite work the same way with a first mortgage.
Yeah.
They can't change it.
Yeah, we see that in 2.2, right? We have about 1.6 in column A.
Yes.
And then
I'm pointing at my screen like people can see me. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. I'm just looking at 2.1 still, and I'm trying to figure out if they took out a HELOC for this 2.1 row, how do we know the difference between what it originally was versus if they'd paid any of it off? Is that going to show up here or not?
Yeah, it will. So they originally, I know because I've done the research that the original amount of the HELOC was 199.8.
Okay.
So let me double check that number.
But you're saying if you didn't know that off the top of your head, it might not show up here because this is just showing what's left of it.
Yeah, it was 199.8.
And you just happen to know it's the same number, which means they never paid any of it off.
Yeah, they haven't paid any of it off, and
oh dear. Okay.
Yeah, that's actually more there. It gets even a little more shocking and further on, but yeah, I don't know that they ever made one single payment, to be honest. So, and then so column A is the amount that is currently due on that loan, right? I should say the amount that the loan is worth, which is the 199.8. And then column B is, okay, it's kind of like math, right? So if you took the loan out for 199.8 and you have 1.5 million in value, the difference should be your equity. But in this case, there's no equity. It's unsecured now. It doesn't have any collectability as far as the property goes.
That's a big red flag.
This really matters, in terms of how they handle that loan going forward. It's a lot. It's a little boring, but it's interesting to me. But it basically changes it into credit card debt after the bankruptcy is complete. So it has the same rights and everything as a credit card. It doesn't, just because it's a mortgage, it doesn't matter anymore. It's a little insane. That you can take out a mortgage 14 months later, spend all your money, and go, whoops, sorry.
That seems like a good plan.
Yeah. So if we see the same thing then down at 2.2 with select portfolio servicing. So
Oh, damn.
so
Oh, damn.
so
I wasn't even paying attention to that. Okay.
select portfolio servicing that and Cenlar too, to be honest. Those are two big ding ding dings for me because those are default lender servicing lenders. That tells you right away that the loans are in bad shape.
Yeah.
By who is managing them. Because what lenders do, banks like to keep good loans on their books. And when a loan starts to go sideways, they sell it off. And then there are lenders who specifically work on default debt, right, and bad loans, and so they service them. It still has some, all the same terms to it, but the servicing changes. And those servicers are servicers like Select Portfolio Servicing.
Oh,
They-
so you can tell that's these guys do that sort of work. Whereas if
Yeah.
they had sort of a loan in good standing, it might be through Chase or US
Yep.
Bank or
Yep. Exactly
whoever.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly that. So that was just a red flag, like oh, I see. This is not going well for them. So yeah, we see here that the balance is 1,590,000 and change. And again, we only have 1.5 in value to put it up against. So 90,000 of it is at risk of being lost by the bank. And this is a way to show, because the bank will see all this. The two mortgage companies will look at this paperwork more than any credit card company will, right, when they get it. The banks will look at it, and they want to see what shape they're in for possible collection. So those numbers matter, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
Again,
this 1.5 is really swinging what's your secured versus unsecured number in this equation, correct?
yeah, yep, yeah, and so you don't want to make it too much, right? Because you don't want the everybody to freak out and deny your bankruptcy application, but you want to make it look like it's bad, and I think that's definitely what's happening here. It's bad.
Okay. So
Yeah, and I can't even go.
You said they had 3 mortgages or just 2?
2.
Two.
Two.
Okay. I don't know why I thought
that. There were 3 on the San Francisco house, and we did talk about that on a stream.
Okay.
Yep. So,
But somebody's a question for you, Tiff.
Oh boy, that question could take.
How does the bankruptcy affect Sarah and Christian?
Yeah, that's it affects them. Well, first of all, let's rewind. It's already affected them. The status that these loans are in has already affected them because they co-signed. That's in this paperwork. We can see that they are co-debtors.
Yeah.
So these loans are showing up on their credit reports as in default. Now, they can write explanations to anybody they're trying to get a loan from, and and finagle maybe their way out of it on a direct level, but this is not a fun time. I don't know how it works in other states, but like in Michigan, this would affect your insurance premiums, your car insurance premiums, if you started having loans default. So it's affecting them already. Now, how it will affect them in going forward is really, really complex because it could go several different ways, but it depends on which route happens, right? If the bankruptcy trustee says any given thing that this could go, because again, this is the application, just because they say, here's what I want to pay every month to get everything, to get my mortgages right, doesn't mean that that's what's going to be allowed. So we almost kind of have to wait to see, because I could go over so many different scenarios of how it will affect them. But the bottom line is, if you co-sign, especially on a mortgage, if you co-sign for somebody, well, I shouldn't say especially on a mortgage, on anything, and it goes into default, the lender can come after you. January Jan and Ron are protected right now because they've filed for bankruptcy, right? The lender has to pause everything. They're not allowed to pursue you right now. Most lenders are not jerks about it, believe it or not, and they won't just start harassing Sarah and her husband, but they could. They could. Especially if that HELOC goes into unsecured. If it goes into unsecured status, somebody's paying for it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Isn't it already an unsecured? The unsecured
not yet.
value is equivalent to.
Good question, Bruce. Sorry. Not yet. It's on paper, yes, but not officially. The Chapter 13 has to be completely finished. So
Okay, but
5
like you
years.
said before, this is an application,
Mm-hmm.
and once this becomes ratified, then this 199A would become unsecured officially.
Yeah, and then there's some case law that varies, but it could even possibly drag out until after that 5 years of payments is done, before they are able to collect on it. It's really weird the way it goes, because if you miss any of those payments over the term of your Chapter 13, you're done.
Oh,
It gets, it's,
big trouble.
and it happens. It happens a lot. I see it in
Yeah.
foreclosure files all day long.
Hmm.
So it could affect them.
So-
I know I didn't answer well, but that's not a good answer.
It seems
to
like the bottom line is because they're co-signers here, as we can see in this form, the daughter and son-in-law. This is just a very precarious situation for them. Is the bottom line? Okay.
Yeah. It's really unfortunate, but I mean, again, they're adults. They signed it.
Yeah. All right. What are we looking at here? This is all your non-priority unsecured claims.
Yeah, so they're listing here that they don't have any priority unsecured claims. Like they don't have any child support debt. They don't have any IRS taxes and stuff.
No
like
child
that.
support debt. I mean,
Right.
never mind. Never mind.
Right, that was too easy. Sorry.
No grandchildren support
Burn.
despite all the alleged twins. Go ahead.
So this is just all of their unsecured debt. These are the things that we were talking about at the beginning, like their credit cards, their miscellaneous, every single bill that you would have in your life could and should be listed here.
Okay.
Right? And they do it alphabetically, probably just because that's what the computer does, right? So just because
sorry,
we see
these numbers mean they haven't paid. They owe this money and they haven't paid it yet? Is that what it
that's how
means?
much. Yep, that's how much is owed on it right now. So let's say it's an ADT bill, right? And that is probably a monthly bill that you pay.
Yeah.
You're only allowed to be free of this amount here, the 200. Again, I keep pointing at my screen. I'm so sorry. That is really, I catch myself
Total
doing
claim, 248.
the 248. They would only be allowed to basically they'd get a credit on their account for 248 and get a fresh start. And that's how most utilities are handled and smaller bills are handled. You get a credit for the amount you're behind and they kind of wipe it clean and then you start over fresh. Different rules for different types of accounts, but that's,
I mean, they
that's
really
how it
need
goes.
they really need the security service because Greg might start hacking them at any
God
moment.
damn
right? I mean, this
This is some fucking
He already has. That's why their computers are only worth $1,500.
Affirm. If you're using Affirm, man, you've like done all you can do except use Affirm. I feel like because I use Affirm. I use that shit too.
Hey, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, and we've all been in places where we've had to do what we had to do. But yeah, that's a.
what was
That
the
is-
firm? What is this?
Affirm. It's like
Yeah.
a service where you can make like 4 payments on something over like a month at a time.
Like
instead of-
Amazon.
QVC.
Yeah, instead
Yeah.
of paying up front.
Amazon has it.
QVC.
What?
QVC.
QVC has it.
Oh, this is like a payment plan kind of thing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
used it for I bought a nice laptop, and so I used it to pay like every month over time, for, like
Okay.
a couple years or something.
Pay over time. Okay. So
Yeah.
it's some
Instead
sort
of using like the store's credit card that they offer or whatever. Yeah, Affirm
Right.
is kind of like a
Got it.
probably
got
more
it.
expensive form
You
of
can use it
borrowing, right?
for
Mhm.
some places let you use it for like flights and stuff too.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things you can.
Yeah, I've seen it on
Make-
Amazon. I think there's some music recording equipment stores that do this. Yeah,
This stream is sponsored by a firm.
I know, right?
Oh my god.
Photography equipment. I know photography equipment. I've
I was
seen.
like, am I getting a commercial?
Oh yeah, you could probably B&H
Yes.
or something. You could do this at. Yeah.
And Gemma says like layaway, but you get the stuff in it ahead of time. Like
Yeah.
Finger Hut. If anybody remembers
Finger
Finger
Hut?
Hut.
Yeah, you're
Finger
just
Hut.
paying it off over time like a credit card.
Yeah.
Wait, what's Finger Hut?
Finger Hut is a magazine we used to get where we
You have
could
my
buy
attention.
stuff out of it and pay it over time.
That is not what came to mind when you said Finger Hut, but move on.
Oh, God.
Oh my gosh. Anyway,
Is there a place where we're congregating? What?
Oh, it's a finger food company.
Yeah, I know.
That's what you thought.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, go on.
so I mean,
Perverts.
I don't throw shade at people who need to use certain services other than people who have the resources that these people have to be using these services and then file bankruptcy is a little obnoxious, but yeah, that's miscellaneous purchases on credit. That's what 90 of these accounts on here say. I don't know how many there
Miscellaneous. Yeah, so we don't even know what this is. It'd
No.
just
Yo,
be-
Berries.
are. So we can't even
yeah,
say
who
it was,
knows?
medical debt, like care credit or something, right?
Services. Okay,
Yeah,
so we have a lot
services.
of credit cards.
Oh,
Hey,
I didn't
Tiff.
see that American Express balance. Wow.
Oh
How
yeah.
does one go about getting a $50,000 line of credit when you've fucked up this hard this many times? I'm just
Wow.
wondering because I only got offered like a $2,000 line of credit, and I need to talk to somebody about that.
What I'm curious about is whether the 2025 on a lot of these accounts is accurate or a typo. Because I don't take anything as being accurate, but
Right.
there are different
Hmm.
dates on a lot of things, so it's which
Yeah,
makes it more likely to not be a typo. That's terrifying.
I mean,
You
what
spent all of that recently?
if so this is $50,000 on American Express. If this happened over multiple years, what are you supposed are you allowed to put like
Let me get some water. I'll be
2022
right
to
back, guys.
2025 in this form, or do they just want the
I see what
latest
you're
date,
saying.
or like what are the semantics of the form?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's somewhat interpretive, right? And I think we see that in some of the other accounts that say 2016, but there's no way that account has been sitting there since 2016 and never had any activity on it, right? There's certain credit cards in here that say that. So maybe the majority, maybe that's how they go by the majority of it.
I don't know.
I don't know either. There's some things
Yeah,
we're not going to have answers to.
the form is not precise enough to tell us
No.
these things, I don't think.
No.
Hey Tiff, did you
Yeah.
talk about the difference between like a Chapter 7 bankruptcy versus Chapter 13 versus the other kinds you can do and why you think they chose this one in particular?
I did. I didn't explain it very well, but I did go
Okay.
over it. And I think the bottom line is that they're doing the so let's real quick circle back to it. I think they're doing a Chapter 13 for two reasons. One, because it's easier to keep your house on a 13, although they would be able to keep it on a 7 too. And I think it may be a little more favorable to Sarah and her husband going this route because it shows the debtor is willing to make things right on the mortgages, and at least one of them, and that might sway that lender from going after Sarah and her husband as aggressively as they might otherwise.
I was thinking those same things too as I was looking at this yesterday. But I missed the beginning of the stream. Obviously, I wasn't here, but so I was curious to hear what your thoughts were on that.
I'm glad you asked because I didn't think. I mean, I did explain the differences, but I didn't go into why they probably filed 13, and I do believe it has a lot to do with Sarah.
That makes
Mhm.
sense.
Protection of and the house, trying to keep the house.
And trying to keep the house. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, gosh. I said in the beginning that it's just bonkers to me that they bought this house and they made such a good decision buying this house. And getting a decent mortgage on it and not going above and beyond with the credit extension, and they just went sideways real fast. And here we are.
Yeah, it's crazy. I had someone look at this who's in finance similar to like what you do, and they said, without giving any context to to any of this, one of the main takeaways was that it seemed like rich people who are like no longer rich and living well beyond their means, but still, still trying to live that lifestyle, but don't have the money to support it. And of course, he didn't have, all of the details, but
hmm
that was just interesting, his take, just by looking at what we have here today.
And I think that's so spot on. If we look at, like I said, the last couple of years in San Francisco and transitioning into Arizona, not taking advantage of that fresh start, man,
Mhm.
with that monthly income could have been fine.
Yeah. Yes. And that's more than like a lot of people make a year,
hmm
what they're making combined.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, like that probably a good amount of us have more money listed in our bank account than they do
And
at this
my
moment in time.
my friend also said they would not be surprised, and this is allegedly, this is just his opinion. He would not be surprised if they were hiding money somewhere.
Oh yeah. I think this was planned for a while. And I
Hmm.
mean, to be honest, most bankruptcies are, right? Like you talk to the attorney in advance and they say, okay, for the next 3 months, make these moves, right? And
Hmm.
that's kind of not unheard of. But I think this was planned for a lot longer than that. And that I think
Oh
that's where they're
yeah,
going to run into some trouble with those mortgages.
Woodnick has been saying, I don't even know for how long, that he knew they were never gonna collect on that money. And I think he's like said that in maybe
Mhm.
interviews. I'm trying to remember where I heard it, but I know he said this, that he knew that they were never going to be able to collect on that money, and that he wouldn't be surprised if she claims, well, I know this isn't her, this is her
Yeah.
parents, but if some type of bankruptcy happens,
Yeah.
which it
That'll
has.
be, that'll be. If she filed bankruptcy, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, this is too, because this is, the House of Cards.
And
Falling.
yeah, the
Now,
whole,
if
oh, go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead. Well, if they're hiding money, my question is, how do we find the treasure map to it? And
I think that I
and do I
think
need
that
a shovel?
the one thing that they've proven to us over time, several times, is that they're kind of bad at this,
Hmm.
right? And don't underestimate a bankruptcy trustee.
Yeah.
Those people, like we talked about on the one stream about, that they'll do searches on you before they file a lawsuit. A bankruptcy trustee will do much more than that. They
Oh,
they,
okay.
they will find
They
what they
will
need to find.
dig, they will dig to the depths.
And they're a lot, like they're given certain permissions to, right? So
Mhm.
they're able to make statements to, remember like when I don't know, Woodnick sent out the thing to Planned Parenthood and said just anything you have under this name. We
The
want to know
subpoenas, yeah.
what it is. Yeah. In bankruptcy, they're not quite the same. They're not called the same, but they have to comply with that. So if Bank of America gets a request for a list of accounts, they gotta
Hand
give a
it
report
over.
back.
Okay.
And
So,
those
yeah.
kinds of things will happen, I'm sure. But yeah,
So the answer to my completely non-serious question is the serious answer is the trustee is the treasure finder.
Yes.
yes, the trustee.
A lot of all of this is in this trustee's hands to to uncover and
Yeah.
discover.
And this is not their first rodeo, man. They know
Tips and
how to
tricks.
read. Yeah, they know how to read this stuff.
Very good.
They'll do the same kinds of things that, that we do when we research this stuff. Well, they'll look up the LLC information and all that. Like I said, they'll send out statements to the banks to get verified balances, and they'll find it. They'll find it if it's there. I mean, there's some things they're not going to find, right? If you're really good at hiding stuff, you might hide a little bit of money somewhere. I
In
think
my
if
mattress.
you're taking out this much credit card debt, I don't think you're really good at holding on to that money.
Wait, do you guys get the reference? The money's in the banana stand.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
I mean, if they hid the money in
funny.
the if they hid it in the moon bump, it might be in the MCAO evidence locker right now, and
They
nobody
just need to cut it
knows.
open.
I know. Yeah.
Give it a C-section.
Oh my.
Oh, Cat Lady Ballerina, I forgot. Thank you for bringing that up. I forgot about the GFM.
Oh yeah.
Did we notice that when we were looking at accounts that we had that there wasn't a listing for a
I didn't
GoFundMe
see that
account?
anywhere. Yeah. I
No,
didn't see
Yeah.
this has been interesting to me because I know that there are
guys,
certain
I'm
rules
gonna move the
around.
document because we only got like 10 more minutes. We'll take questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that there are
Come
certain
on.
rules around gift giving and the amount of the gift given. Like all of those individual donations do not have to be reported because they don't meet the threshold. However, the GoFundMe, they say, is in this other person's name. So this other person would presumably be giving a lump sum to the Owens family, but even still, the Owens family wouldn't necessarily have to claim the gift giving on their taxes, but the person giving the money would possibly have to claim it on their taxes. So what are your thoughts around all of that?
So, just because it might not be taxable money doesn't mean it's not, doesn't mean that it's exempt from being reported on your bankruptcy paperwork, right?
Then what if they
So
haven't received it yet? What if this person hasn't cashed out from the GoFundMe platform to give them the monies?
we didn't get far down enough in the form, but there's a spot where you have to fill out if you're a beneficiary of any type of account or reward or winning, or like it's a whole little example, and there's more in the actual long form that what constitutes that type of beneficiary account, but they have to report it as they are a beneficiary of that account, the same way they had to report that they have life insurance on Ron, right? Because they don't have it right now, but they could get it or will get it one day, and so they have to report that they are a beneficiary. So same thing with the GoFundMe. That'll be interesting. I wasn't really giving it a lot of thought yesterday when I was going through all this, but then I was like, wait a minute, you know what? You're right. This could be a bigger problem than just.
So in your opinion, somewhere in this form should be the GoFundMe as a beneficiary, and we
Yeah.
don't see it anywhere.
Nope.
So it's interesting because like I know they have the GoFundMe that says that it's going to him for medical debt, but then the GoFundMe is in this other person's name. So could they then claim, well, yeah, we said we were going to do this, but then we never took the money and it went to this other person?
Well, so that's fraud, right?
Well, yeah.
Because which we're not immune to it apparently, but yeah, they could if they wanted to get out of committing fraud in bankruptcy court, but that commits you're in a different type of fraud. It's just basically which one do you want, right? Because you can't tell people that you're going to take their money and use it for something that you don't use it for, or that it's going to a person that it's not going to. It has to go for that benefit. So, and there was a couple. Do you guys remember the couple with the homeless guy that they pretended help?
Yes.
And the $20 of
Yeah,
gas or
I know what
whatever.
you're talking about. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he gave her money for gas. She was broke down or something, and and they got like $400,000 in GoFundMe money, and it was a scam.
Yes.
Because yeah, so and I mean they got charged big time. So you can't mess around with that. That's my official. You can't mess around. But yeah, it's I
So, I
see
mean,
what your thought process is, and
do
I
you
see that.
think
Go ahead.
do you think that they, because obviously they put some thought into this, right? Like, do you list it or do you not? And if they did work with an advisor, I mean, it says that they had like advisors in some capacity, and so like, I'm just trying to think, what was their thought process? Do you think they're thinking like, oh, I hope they don't find out, but it's so public, like, how could they not? Like, what do you think?
I think that they believe they can explain their way out of it,
Mm,
right? So the same way, Laura thinks that she can, if she talks long enough, people will believe that Mike is the worst guy on earth, right?
mhm.
Like if you just explain it enough times, it'll happen. And that's kind of how this paperwork was approached in a few places, to be honest. Not just one. But yeah, it's that I think that they believe that they have all the reasons you just listed, right? But they're wrong. I don't know. I don't have like a more
Yeah.
pizzazzy way of saying it. It's
Yeah,
wrong. Yeah,
it
they're
just is. Yeah.
you have to put that on there, and it will become a problem for them. I know that for a fact. It will become a problem.
Interesting.
It's not if, it will.
What do you think
And
their
it
long-term goal is
to
by doing
keep the house,
this?
and get rid of all that credit card debt, because, and that's why I was a little wishy-washy in the beginning when I said 7 and 13 are similar, because in all honesty, like if we look at the schedules at the end or their payment plan that they want to do, they're only putting like $500 towards their unsecured debt over 5 years. So they're not really interested in paying any of that stuff.
No.
So I think they just want to get rid of all of that by keeping the house and just
Well,
avoiding
and
the cash.
doesn't it affect your credit for fewer years, maybe 3 fewer years than a Chapter 7? Something like that, but it would still affect your credit for like maybe 7 years or so.
So it's actually pretty easy to bounce back from a bankruptcy on your credit, to be
Mm.
honest. And I would argue that 7 is easier to bounce back from, because um, once it's gone and wiped out and closed, your dismissal clock starts right then. But on a Chapter 13, your dismissal clock doesn't start until your fifth year of payments is finished.
Mm.
So I don't know. At the same time, those credit cards will be discharged. No, they won't actually until the 5 years stops. So yeah, no, I would argue Chapter 7 might be easier to recover from, to be honest. But
Mm.
people will do 13 because it does look good if you are making payments towards those credit card debts. It also looks good that you are making payments towards the mortgage debt, right? Those are things
Mhm.
that will
Oh my
benefit you
gosh.
and kind of mitigate the other
If
stuff.
if the plan is only paying a minimal amount to this unsecured debt, like what happens to the unsecured debt? You just still have it?
Nope, it goes away. You have a clean slate.
Yeah.
It gets wiped out.
It does.
So we may see some of those very high balance cards. They might, especially if those charges were made in 2025, they might be filing some objections to this. I wouldn't be
Mhm.
surprised if they don't.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
and none
lot
of
of
this
debt.
is set in stone, right? I had someone ask me yesterday, like, this is all alleged, this is all just their paperwork. The trustee's going to go through all of this. There might be objections. Like you said, this is just the
Mhm.
beginning of the whole process.
Yes. Yep. It's the application to enter bankruptcy. Chapter
Mhm.
13 bankruptcy. It's an application.
Yeah.
And so just like when you file an application for a loan, the terms can change, right?
Mhm.
So they could still be approved for a bankruptcy, but the court says, no, we actually think you can afford a little more. Or we think that you have some assets that can be sold off to offset, right? So the terms can change. And so that's what we'll look for in the next, several months.
Very good. I think
Yeah.
we got to finish up the questions and super
Oh.
chats, or Lauren's going to pass out.
I'm
Sorry.
not gonna pass out, but I do have to go to bed soon, within the next 30 minutes. So we'll kind of wrap this up.
That's fine.
Auntie M says, did Jan list the LLC she has with Laura? I saw the Liz Max
Yes.
on there, which I guess she owns 100% of now. I saw at Quartet Farms. Is that something they had together, or is that always been the
They
parents?
did that. I think they were all 4 owners of that. And then just recently, I want to say Laura was removed from it. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
don't
about
remember
Sarah.
Ron being on it, but I thought
Okay.
Laura and Jan were.
Okay.
Possibly Sarah as
Yeah.
well. Maybe Sarah was listed as a co-owner.
They listed 3, right? They listed
Yeah.
Quartet Farms, Nobody Told Me, and Liz
Oh,
Maris.
nobody told me. That's right. I knew I was
And
forgetting something.
it
I
was
forget
There are
weird
others.
because they didn't really do the
Yeah.
percentages on the first 2. And they
Yeah.
listed all of them as 0 value. Which
Well, that's
was,
probably accurate. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, yeah.
Hey guys, it's all our fault that they're not making any money. Don't
Oh.
forget.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I didn't know jack about these people in 2021 when they started making those decisions in
Yeah.
Arizona, and forget about when they were in San Francisco and making those same decisions. Nope.
Yeah.
Sorry. Can't blame that on us. Sorry.
Just J Hip, thank you for the $2. Is Laura still available? I don't know. She's been on dating apps. Maybe she found someone.
Yeah.
But
Look her up. Check her
No.
out.
please don't. Zach, thank you for the $2. Tiff looks nice
Aw.
because she's next to Lauren and Bruce. Thanks, man.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that was. I think we got to wrap it up for the night because it's about 11:30, and I have to work early tomorrow, so I have a hard stop at 11:30 tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll be back for a second part, maybe even a third if it takes us longer than that. Tiff, it just depends on when you're available. So I'll let everybody know
Yeah.
what we figure out.
Yeah. I'll let you know because there's a little more research that has to go into the
Yep.
more in-depth stuff, and I want to make sure I have some answers on some things we didn't get answered tonight. So
Fair
for
enough.
sure.
We'll go through that kind of line by line stuff. I just didn't have time tonight, unfortunately.
Well, and it can get. I mean, it's like looking at tax returns. Unless you know what you're looking at, it's like, ugh.
I never
So-
look at my tax return. You know?
I think this was
I
great.
love it.
This is like a great intro to like anyone who doesn't know really anything about this. I think this was
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's also just a good education in general, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Everybody needs to know this stuff. So
They should be teaching this shit in high school instead of whatever I learned.
Thank you. Right.
Jesus.
Whatever I learned.
Agreed.
Damn.
Oh,
my
those poor, you
know.
know how they used to like wheel in the TV cart when it was like substitute teacher day? They're gonna like wheel in the flat screen and it's gonna be us in this video and these poor kids. Can you imagine? They have to watch us. Oh,
They're gonna
boy.
teach us about bankruptcy today.
Yeah.
And fake
Hey,
babies.
kids, let me tell you about a financially unstable cunt.
Oh, the youth. The youth are not prepared. They're not ready.
Oh no, we need to prepare them. Oh my
All right,
gosh.
thanks, everybody. We'll
Okay.
see you. We'll see you soon.
Thanks. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.